25th November. The first round of the FIDE World Chess Championship is finally over. And we just had Gukesh Damaraju from India, a 18-year-old boy challenging the current World Chess Champion Ding Liren from China. And you know what? It was an amazing game. But कुछ चीज़ें थी जो गुकेश के side में नहीं. So without wasting much of your time, let's just deep dive into the game. So we had Gukesh playing with the white pieces and Ding with the black pieces. Gukesh opened with 1 e4. This was the first game and people were expecting either they would see d4 or 1 e4. तो हमें e4 देखने को मिला. But सबसे surprising चीज़ थी Ding playing e6. We had a French defense in the first round of World Chess Championship. And मैं तुम्हें crazy stats बताना चाहूँगा. I just read it somewhere. I just listened to some of the streams. जब भी कभी वर्ल्ड चैंपियनशिप में फ्रेंच डिफेंस खेला गया, आई थिंक देर आर लाइक 18 गेम्स जब वाइट जीता है, देर आर 19 ड्रॉज एंड देर इज ओनली 3 win with the black pieces. So French defense is not really an opening you would love to have playing yourself, during these kind of big tournaments. And World Chess Championship time pe never ever seen that. So d4, d5, knight c3, knight f6, pawn e5, and we had a classical Stenet's variation. And usually जो French defenses रहते हैं, we get these kind of structures where you see white is trying to advance on the king side and they're creating potential, king side attack, whereas black is trying to get space on the queen side with pawn moves like a5, a4 and a3, and कभी भी queen a5 पे आ सकता है. So we see a4 gaining more space, followed by bishop e3 strengthening the center, bishop e7 and g4. And you know what, this is just move number 10 and g4 shows Gukesh wants to fight and he wants to get that win. It is a little bit desperate. Usually I would consider, obviously we have engines, we can analyze things because they don't have it. And a move like g4 shows कि वो attacking chess खेलना prefer कर रहा है and he likes his position. Usually क्या करते हैं लोग ऐसे structures वगैरह में, what I would like to do is to play something like knight g3 followed by something like bishop d3 and castle and try to control this f5 move, and तुम्हारा रुक भी f1 पे होगा, so you get for f4 f5 plan. But obviously Gukesh has other plans as well. We see g4, queen a5, then we have bishop g2, pretty logical, reasonable developing the bishop, and a3. And if I have to give you an example why a3, so you see white के पास बहुत ही प्यारा pawn chain है, and usually when you have a very healthy pawn chain you need to damage the base of the chain. So a move like a3 actually attacks the pawn on b2. So we see b3. Now this c3 pawn is little weak. He takes on d4, but यहाँ पे आता है पहले b4. That attacks the queen, and you can't really sack because after something like bishop b4 we just play bishop d2 and it's not really good. So queen क्या है पीछे जाता है to c7. Now we take on d4, knight b6. We see castles. अब यहाँ पे there could be other moves as well, something like knight b5. And उससे हो क्या रहा ना, the queen is on d8, it goes to a5, it goes to c7 and it goes to d8. So that could have been a better move, but obviously castle is not anything I would consider bad. Knight c4 attacking the bishop, bishop goes to f2, bishop d7, queen e2. Now the position is fine, it's okayish. Black is doing well as well. Black has achieved equality with the French defense. The knight is planted on c4. यहाँ पे कुछ चीजें थोड़ी गुकेश के साइड से हटते हुए देखने को मिली थी. After queen to e3, we see rook c8, rook c1, queen c4, f5. Now the f5 move looks great because you can obviously take on e6, you can go for f6 with followed by g5 plans. But दिक्कत क्या होता है, when he offered the queen trade he played queen e1 and that's a mistake. अब तुम पूछोगे यार ये mistake कैसे है. गेम में दिक्कत क्या होता है ना, bishop g5 आ जाता है and now you can't play bishop e3 because that would just hang a bishop and the rook is attacked, so you have to play rook c2 एंड यू सी आफ्टर रुक c4 h4 बिशप जो है ना, ये जो पॉन जिनके अंदर है ना, दिस बिशप इज एक्चुअली वेरी नाइस. सो आफ्टर अ मूव लाइक क्वीन टू b1 you basically lose your pawn. Now अब तुम मेरे को पूछोगे कि instead of queen e1, if that's a mistake, what could be a better move? You can actually keep that tension in the position by playing queen to f4. अब अगर तुम इस pawn को लेने के लिए जाओगे like rook into c3, we can play rook c3, queen c3 and f takes e6. You can notice after f e6 there is bishop e1 attacking the queen and we have great control in the position. Now, instead of queen f4, he could have also played something like g5. It's not really that great because, you know, ho kya raha hai yahan pe? So, well, castle is fine, but also move like g6 and f6 ke baad, you go queen into e3, bishop e3 and bishop f8 and it's fine. You can get your rook out from here as well. अगर मैं पीछे जाऊं यहाँ पे, we see queen e1, bishop here, rook c4, h4, bishop here, and we lose a pawn. अब यहाँ से प्रॉब्लम शुरू होती है and things go pretty bad. He took on e6, f into e6, knight e2. That's a fork, attacks the queen and the bishop as well. So queen e5. Now he's 2 pawns down, and that's the problem. You take on f4, queen f4. अब यहाँ पे he played a move which I can't really explain. He played queen c2. Now, for an untrained eye, you might say, क्या दिक्कत है queen c2 में? I mean, it's not really something like this is a problem. You can go queen c7, attack the bishop and can castle. But the problem is queen c4, जो कि Deng ने खेला. He played queen c4. Now, if you trade, there is knight c4 and he's doing well. अब ये जो प्रॉब्लम है, ये जो पॉन है, ये फ्यूचर में क्वीन बन सकता है if he loses the a2 pawn, which he might, and he can castle. But the issue is, in the game we see after queen c4, he played queen d2. He can't really trade the queens because he's 2 pawns down. After castling, bishop d4. अब तुम मेरे को बोलोगे यार queen c2 अगर नहीं खेलता तो क्या खेलना चाहिए था? I'll show you. Instead of queen c2, a move like bishop c5 was very natural, I would say. You defend the pawn, the first thing is clear. You attack the queen and you're keeping tensions over here as well. I would say there are few tricks in the position as well. So let's say a move like queen to c4. अब कुछ tricks आते हैं इस position में. Let's say we play queen to h7 and वो black क्या करता है, इधर टिक करता है. So that's a checkmate. I will show you some fun variations, okay? So यहाँ पे हो क्या रहा है? Instead of taking over here, you can actually play queen into f1, king f1, then take. Now there is another variation where अगर queen c7 पे जाती है and you go for this sacrifice with king h7, there is this and this is also checkmate. But यहाँ पे क्या करोगे ना? You take on c5 first and that's a check. Then when the king, you take it, you lose your queen. अब एक और वेरिएशन इसमें यहाँ पे भी आती है जब queen I would say, wait, कहाँ पे जा रही थी queen? I think it goes something like queen here. And if you take over here, there is not this move. If you do it, again there is a checkmate. But यहाँ पे queen e3 move आ रहा है. And you can play something like this. So these moves, obviously, they are not going to happen in the game because they are very strong players. The world chess champion and the challenger, but it just shows how tricky this position actually is. You can now take this. अब यहाँ पे queen d4 move is happening. So these are the few tricks in the position. Obviously no one is going to fall for it, but queen into h7 seems funny, so मैंने तुम्हें थोड़ा variation show किया. And also during these games, I along with my friend Sahil Arora, we do live commentary. तो तुम अगर channel को subscribe करके post notifications on रखते हो, तो you can also follow our streams live as well and participate in the chat. So in the game we had queen f4, queen c2, that was a mistake. Now queen c4, he played queen d2, he castled and played bishop d4, attacking the knight. He went with knight to d3, queen e3, rook f1. We had a pair exchange of rooks. Now e5. अब यहाँ पे क्या होता है ना, he took on he took on e5. If knight takes, this is hanging. So he first took the g4 pawn with a check. Bishop g2, bishop f5, we got bishop g3. And तुम notice करोगे, Gukesh has only 24 seconds on the clock, and that's super bad. Because इसमें क्या है ना, up until move number 40, first of all, there is no increment, there is no bonus time. Whenever you make a move, there is not any extra time being added to your clock. After move number 40, you get 30 minutes extra time along with 30 second का bonus हर move पे. But तब तक position काफ़ी खराब हो चुका था. He is 2 pawns down. And after move like bishop e4, which is a very great move, king h2, we see h6, bishop h3, there was queen d1, and it was a little bit desperate play, going for tricks, even till the end. I'll show you. After queen c2 check, we see king to g3. Now, queen a2. अब ये चीज़ देखो. What would you play in this position? तुम बोल सकते हो कि यार it's very simple यार. We can't really go over here. There are two moves. I think we can play king h8. That's logical, and also we can go king h7. Also क्योंकि king h7 से आने से वो क्या रहा है? End game वगैरह में maybe the king would be more close to the center, but not really. This was the last trick Gukesh tried. If you go king h7, do you see the bar? It's equal. Queen sacrifice on e4. If you take it, which is the only logical move, you lose your queen. But again, Ding Liren, even if he's not at its peak, not performing अपने level पे, but he's the world chess champion, so he would definitely not fall for it. In that game, we see king h8, and that's a resignation from Gukesh. So that was the first round of 2024 World Chess Championship, and Gukesh from India, just an 18-year-old boy from Chennai, he lost his first game, but not a big deal. We got 13 more games coming up next, and there is much good games from his side coming up. Pretty sure he would bounce back. कोई दिक्कत वगैरह नहीं होने वाली है. He is a nice guy after all, very strong player, prodigy, and yeah, what else we can say? That was a nice game from Ding Liren. And kal, day number 2, second game, Gukesh should be playing with the black pieces. Let's see what we have for today. So if you made this far into the video, drop something nice. अगर वीडियो पसंद आया तो Also comment green heart emoji जिससे मुझे पता चलेगा you made it this far into the video. And yeah, do like, subscribe to the channel. I would see you guys in the next video or in the next stream. तब तक के लिए bye bye.